Hi, this is Ms. Kariya, and today's lesson is on verbs in Japanese. This is my take on what is on your textbook or in your textbook on pages 181 and 183. Let's begin by briefly going over the verbs that we've learned recently: kazaru, miru, taberu, kiku, asobu, morau, ageru, and suru. So let's begin with kazaru. What does it mean in English? To decorate. Miru, to see. Taberu, to eat. Kiku, to listen. Asobu, to play. Morau, to receive. Ageru, to give. And suru, to do or to engage in. So, new information. There are 3 classes of Japanese verbs: Class 1, Class 2, or Class 3. Class 1s are also known as Godan, or 5 level. Class 2 are Ichidan, 1 level. And Class 3 are irregular. We'll learn why they're called Godan and Ichidan at a later time. First thing, let's start with Class 1, Godan, 5 level verbs. Godan verbs, when they're in their dictionary or plain form, can end in mu, like here, bu, like asobu, nu, u, like morau, to receive, tsu, ru, but on the condition that there is an a sound or an u sound or an o sound before the ru, like kazaru, to decorate, ku, like kiku, to listen, and gu and su. Class 2 or ichidan verbs always end in a ru, but their condition is there is either an e column sound like miru or an e column sound like taberu or ageru before the ru ending. So just to give you a romaji version or view of it, miru has the e sound, taberu has the s sound, and ageru has also the s sound. So an e column sound would be i, ki, shi, chi, ni, for example. And an e column sound would be an e, ke, se, te, ne. That comes before the ru, and that makes it a Class 2 verb. Going back to the first verb class, Class 1 or Godan verbs. So like the Class 2s, some of the Class 1 verbs do end in ru, but do not have an e or an e sound before it. Instead, it has an a sound like kazaru, or an u sound like kaburu, or an o sound like noboru. That makes it a Class 1 verb. So if you look again at this chart, Class 1s do not end in a ru, or if they do, it ends in an a sound, an u sound, or an o sound. Class 3 irregular verbs, there are only 2, so they're pretty easy to remember. It's suru, to do or engage in, and kuru, which means to come. So with that information, let's see if you can identify what classes these are. Miru, right? Class 2, to see. Nugu, which means to take off. Class 1. Tsukeru, which means to put on. Class 2, because it has that S sound before the ru. Kazaru, right, to decorate. Class 1, because it has the a sound before the ru. morau, to receive. Class 1, because it doesn't end in ru. Taberu, to eat. Class 2, it has the S sound before the ru. Kaburu means to put on your head. Class 1, because it has an U sound before the ru. Asobu, to play, to frolic. Class 1. Suru, to do or to engage in. Class 3, it's one of the irregular verbs, one of the 2 irregular verbs. Kiku, to listen. Class 1. Kuru, to come. Class 3. Remember, there are only 2 Class 3 irregulars, kuru and suru. Ageru, to give. Class 2 has the S sound before the ru. So again, make sure you know the characteristics of all 3 verb classes so that you can identify the verbs as we learn more of those verbs. Bye.